What is going on, guys? My name is Taylor Stuber, and I'm here to break down this 4-game preseason NBA slate on Draftkings.com. If you guys are new here, welcome, or welcome back if you guys are returning viewers. If you haven't done so already, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Likes and comments are also greatly appreciated. If you have any questions at all for me about this slate, comment down below. I'll make sure to get to your question, but the best place to reach me is probably on Discord. That is completely free to join. Over 1,400 members. We are growing at an unprecedented rate, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. It really warms my heart. That is linked down below in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Also, if you want to know exactly what I'm playing on FanDuel and Draftkings.com, as well as my game notes that are updated throughout the day, throughout the night, you can join my Patreon linked down below. Only $25 a month, and that includes the regular season, which starts next Tuesday on the 19th. I'm very, very excited about that, but let's just jump right into this slate. Here's a quick preview that I write every single day. It's always out early in the AM when I post these videos. I go game by game, team by team with their depth charts, injuries, some unbiased information that I found, as well as my opinions on who you should be playing on each of those teams. And again, guys, I will be live streaming 30 minutes before lock. Make sure to be there. With it being preseason and so much news coming throughout the day, you need to have the most up-to-date information, and I update everything on the Patreon, but I will also be updating you guys in the live stream and in the Discord. And if you're in the live stream, I answer pretty much every single question in there. I think I answered over 250 questions last live stream, so appreciate you guys being there if that is possible. But we will start with the Miami Heat versus the Atlanta Hawks. Yeah, this Miami Heat team is depleted, to say the least. They are going to be without Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler, Dwayne Dedmon, Marcus Garrett, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, Markieff Morris, Victor Oladipo, Duncan Robinson, and PJ Tucker. So Omer Yurtseven as well. KZ Okpala is questionable in this game. If he is active, they will have 9 players. If he is inactive, they will have 8 players. But with that said, you know, one of their guys that is going to be active is going to be Udonis Haslem, and I would expect him to either not play, be active but not play at all, or if he does play very, very limited minutes out there. You know, he's pretty much just on this team to be a coach, getting that veteran salary. But regardless, they're going to be playing 7, 8, 9 guys at the very most in this game. And I'm really focusing on guys like Max Strus, Mika Potter, Gabe Vincent. You know, Gabe Vincent missed the last game where they played only 8 guys in that rotation because they did this previously in the preseason. And Gabe Vincent, you know, him and Max Strus are really going to lead this offense. Potter as well. I think you need to be playing all 3 of these guys. And if you want to play another of these Miami Heat guys, I think it's definitely viable. They are very, very affordable. If you go back to their last game where they rested all the players and they only had 8 active guys, we saw DJ Stewart played 38 minutes, Potter played 37, Max Strus 36, Javonte Smart 33 minutes. Now, these guys are very comparable to the expensive studs that are going to play mid to high 20s minutes just because of the sheer volume that they are going to possess. And the usage is going to be very, very condensed between Vincent, between Potter, between Max Strus. I want to get at least 3 of these Miami Heat guys in my lineup. 4 is fine as well. It's going to fit cash builds as well, because I think the goal of this slate is to fit 3 or maybe 4 of these studs in your lineups tonight. Move over to the Atlanta Hawks. They are going to be without Danilo Gallinari, Onyeka Okongwu, Clint Capella, DeAndre Hunter are questionable right now. This is their final preseason game. DeLon Wright went through practice yesterday per Nate McMillan. The hope is for the Hawks' final preseason game to be a dress rehearsal with most everyone available, including Trae Young, including DeAndre Hunter. Capella's availability is likely the only question mark here per McMillan. So, Trae Young, $7,800, is going to play a full allotment of minutes. I'm expecting around 30 minutes. I mean, he could bleed into the 31, 32 minute range. 7,800, very, very good play at this price range. But in all honesty, as we get deeper into this slate, you know, there's a lot of these teams that are going to be treating their games as dress rehearsals. And I think that the Atlanta Hawks are priced appropriately. If I'm going to target anybody on this team, it's probably Trae Young up top to get different from these other studs that are going to play similar similar minutes. I think John Collins is a fine play. If Clint Capella misses this game, we're going to see Gorgie Jang start again at $4,700. His minutes have been pretty sporadic. We saw him play 13 minutes one game. Then the next game he played 31 minutes. And then the next game he played 14 minutes. A real hit or miss guy. But, you know, with the rest of this team, I'm really not all that interested in them, even though they are in a dress rehearsal game. It just shows how strong the rest of the plays on this slate are, that we're seeing on a 4-game slate. They're in a dress rehearsal, and I'm not really considering them. I think they're more so a FanDuel play, specifically talking about Trae Young. Move over to the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Brooklyn Nets. D'Angelo Russell is going to be out this game, as well as Jordan McLaughlin and Patrick Beverley. Josh Okogie is questionable. So Jalen Noel has been the direct backup for D'Angelo Russell, and he could start in his absence. Jordan McLaughlin being out further solidifies his minutes. He played 21 minutes last game, and that was with D'Angelo Russell in the game. So I don't mind Noel at all at 4,700. But again, these are like secondary plays to the Miami Heat guys that are in a very, very good position on the slate. But they have slowly increased the starter minutes of the Timberwolves. Karl Anthony Towns played 25 minutes last game. Anthony Edwards 27 minutes. Malik Beasley 23 minutes last game. And that is, they started with a very low amount of minutes and they've slowly worked their way up. And so maybe we see similar minutes, mid to high minutes out of these guys. And Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards are very, very affordable at $6,700 and $5,600. I think they're both A-tier plays on this slate. If you go back to last year without D'Angelo Russell on the court, Karl Anthony Towns in 274 minutes, 32 point without D'Angelo Russell and Ricky Rubio. Rubio also not on the team this year, obviously. Karl Anthony Towns in 274 minutes, a 32.5% usage rating, 17.1 total rebound percentage, 20 assist percentage, averaging 1.41 fantasy points per minute. Anthony Edwards in 510 minutes with those guys off the court, a 32.2% usage rating, averaging 1.31 fantasy points per minute. I'm really only considering those two on top of Jalen Noel and Malik Beasley, just because Beasley, I think that his minutes are pretty secure in that mid-20s range. Of course, if we get news later on, if anybody else is resting or if they are going to increase or decrease the minutes, I will make sure to let you guys know that. Move over to the Nets. Obviously, they are without Kyrie Irving. I mean, he's probably not going to play this year. I don't really see him folding. Edmund Sumner is also out for the entire year, but Steve Nash expects everyone to be available for the final preseason game outside of those two guys. Kevin Durant played 26 minutes last game, Joe Harris 27 minutes, James Harden 28 minutes. And I expect to see similar minutes out of them. You know, Steve Nash has already mentioned that you don't want to play your guys too little minutes, but you also don't want to play them crazy minutes before we get into the regular season. You want them to be like slowly get ready for the regular season. So what we've seen from their starters since he said that is, you know, mid to high 20s minutes out of these guys. And so Kevin Durant and James Harden are the two guys that I'm really focusing on playing. Both of these guys have been really high fantasy point per minute producers without Kyrie Irving on the court. Go back to last year. James Harden 1.55 fantasy points per minute with Irving off the court. Kevin Durant in a similar situation averaged 1.57 fantasy points per minute. And you know, just outside of the start of the halves and the ending of the halves, they really staggered the 2 minutes. So a lot of the time they're playing by themselves out there on the court, where they point per minute rates, their usage, their assist percentage, everything just goes through the roof. So Harden and Durant are probably the two best spend ups on the slate. I absolutely love Durant. I prefer Durant slightly to Harden, but both these guys are very, very strong plays on the slate. LaMarcus Aldridge is returning after taking a rest last game. That's going to cut into Blake Griffin's minutes. He may grab the start over Blake Griffin. We'll have to see, but really just from this team, I'm focusing on Kevin Durant. I'm focusing on James Harden unless we hear news that tells us otherwise. Move over to this Denver Nuggets versus Oklahoma City game. We just saw this game yesterday, and you know, I'm really not interested in anybody on either of these teams given the state of this slate, because this is the second leg of a back-to-back. Both these teams treated their last games like dress rehearsals, so I could definitely see both of these teams either resting some of their starters or only playing their guys in the first half. If all the guys are active and they're just playing in the first half, that makes none of these guys interesting to me outside of maybe Josh Giddey on the Oklahoma City Thunder, just because he has been playing such big minutes regardless of the rest of the starters. But, you know, if we get guys ruled out from the Nuggets, maybe guys like Bones Highland and Bobo become interesting in GPPs. And OKC, you know, even if they rest guys, I'm really not that interested in any of them outside of maybe Josh Giddey, like I mentioned. But like I mentioned, the Nuggets used the last game as a dress rehearsal. If you go back to last year, they used their second to last game, just like this, just like yesterday's game, as a dress rehearsal, and then played their starters in just the first half in their final preseason game. I think we see a similar situation like that, and that is going to deter me from playing anybody on this Nuggets team. And then from OKC, I'm really just interested in Josh Giddey, but he is 5.7K, a similar price range as Anthony Edwards. I think I slightly prefer Edwards with no D'Angelo Russell, but again, I'm probably going to be fitting in like 4 studs and then 4 near minimum price guys on this slate. Move over to the last game of the slate with the Los Angeles Lakers and the Sacramento Kings. The Lakers are going to be without Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, Talon Horton-Tucker, Wayne Ellington, and Trevor Ariza. I mean, this bench is absolutely depleted, and it is going to be a concern for them heading into the regular season. Just on some real basketball talk, yeah, it's tough. They just signed Sekou Demboya to a 2-way contract 2 days ago. He's, you know, just going to be a strict deep bench attribution to that team. But the Lakers' big three will play significant minutes in the preseason finale. So, and that was per Frank Vogel. So we heard it from the coach. So we're going to see big minutes from these Laker guys again. Maybe that gets into the fourth quarter. That means LeBron, Russell Westbrook, Anthony Davis are squarely in play. And I would try to fit in at least 2 of these guys with maybe a Brooklyn net like Kevin Durant or James Harden. I would rake them point per dollar wise: Anthony Davis, LeBron James, and then Russell Westbrook. With their current injuries, their bench is pretty depleted, like I mentioned. So guys like Carmelo Anthony, Kent Bazemore, Austin Reeves, and Shonda Brown Jr. are going to pick up most of the slack. And these guys are very affordable. It's just unfortunate that, you know, the difference between them and the Miami Heat guys is the Miami Heat guys are going to play way more minutes, and they're not playing next to Westbrook. They're not playing next to LeBron James, Anthony Davis at all times while they're out there on the court. And, you know, DeAndre Jordan rested last game, and he's going to be active in this game. And with him being active, it actually changes quite a bit on this team, because I think that there's a good chance that he starts at the 5 as opposed to Anthony Davis starting at the 5 like he did last game. And that is going to take away some of the minutes from these wing guys like Bazemore, like Carmelo Anthony. Now, if Anthony Davis gets to start again at the 5, even with DeAndre Jordan healthy, then I have more faith in the security of the minutes of the wing guys from the Los Angeles Lakers. So, if you're playing the showdown, make sure to see what the starting lineup is, because that actually determines quite a bit. You know, I'm like really in tune with the depth chart of the Los Angeles Lakers, because I played their in-game showdowns pretty much every slate last year. They were constantly on it. Whenever they played, it was pretty much the in-game showdown slate. So very in tune with what they like to do. So yeah, make sure to take that in mind when you are looking at these Los Angeles Lakers cheap values. Move over to the last team of the slate, the Sacramento Kings. Marvin Bagley is questionable. The rest of the team, healthy. According to Luke Walton, the Kings have a full roster of healthy players headed into tomorrow's preseason finale. He wants to give the core plenty of time, including some fourth quarter minutes. So, I mean, yeah, what's not to love about these Sacramento Kings right here? Outside of the team being very healthy, obviously, De'Aaron Fox only $7,000 playing into the fourth quarter. It's hard not to like him, but again, there are a lot of studs on this slate that are playing big minutes. So, you know, maybe a guy like De'Aaron Fox actually goes overlooked on this slate for bigger names like the Lakers guys, like the Nets guys, like Karl Anthony Towns. You know, you're going to have to make some decisions. I'll let you guys know exactly what I'm doing in my Patreon. I also think guys like Buddy Hield, Halliburton, Bagley, if he plays only 4,900, you know, if he plays mid-20s minutes, I think he is a very good play at that price tag over a fantasy point per minute. I believe if you go back to last year, he was the second highest per minute producer of the core guys, just behind De'Aaron Fox. Harrison Barnes, 5,300. You know, he probably plays 32 minutes, and he's going to be very, very overlooked on this slate. So yeah, I'm going to be live streaming 30 minutes before lock just to go over, you know, everything that has happened throughout the day and answer pretty much every single question you guys throw my way. But if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe. You know, I'm trying to run these subscriber numbers up. My goal is to get to 20 subscribers by the time we start live streaming. Yeah, really want to get to 20 subscribers. But yeah, if you guys want to check me out on Patreon, make sure to check me out there. It is in the description and the pinned comment down below, as well as the Discord link, Twitter link. If you want to follow me on all my socials, feel free to do so. It is greatly appreciated. But I appreciate you guys being here. Best of luck tonight. And until next time, peace.